Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashai, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashai, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashai, Call Layim La, AHBANAWA Yahawah, BAHASHAM Yahawashai, BAHASHAM HAQADASH. Double honor to our apostles, our elders, a great millstone who will well teach you on sound doctrine. Strong shalom to the hopeful elect and the rest of the large multitude of men, women, and children. That the Lord will have mercy on these last days. It's your brother HAQADASH representing GMS branch here in Cleveland. Lord willing to bring out a quick and edifying lesson through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. All right. The title is How Can You Have a Ruling Class Mentality If You Can't Picture a World Without Your Enemy? And here you see a still of a young woman pushing over, I forgot what they call these, like a time capsule type thing. That's a name for it. I forgot what it's called, Salakia. But when you see her pushing this over, and at the top it's supposed to represent so-called Jake, and at the bottom it's supposed to represent so-called Edomite. Okay, and I mean a so-called black man at the top and a so-called white man at the bottom. Okay, Jake at the top, Esau at the bottom. Okay, and what you notice is that both heads are not at the top. One of them have to stand up, and one of them have to be put down. See, so ironically, Jake called themselves kings and so-called queens, which queen means a king's whore. But Jake called themselves kings, and they so-called say they're in they have a king mentality. Oh, what's up, king? You know, right? And trying to be independent, trying to start businesses, and trying to purchase land and so forth. Right? It's in their blood and their genes to do so. But how can you have that type of mentality if you're still connected to your enemy, man? You think Esau's connected to you? Huh? You think he's giving you equal share and equal rights? All right. If no, because that would mean that he wouldn't be in power no more. See, two heads can't reign supreme, man. You know, we understand order. All right, that's how it's going. That's going to be in the kingdom of heaven. But when you're dealing with this concept, okay, Esau is the servant, Jacob is the prince, Yasha'Allah prince, he prince power, Yah he prince, he Shar prince Allah, Yashar Allah, Allah power. Okay, he prince power. He's a prince of the power, which means he's a prince. What is a prince? A prince is the son of a king. Okay, and in order for us to have the true mindset and mentality of a king, okay, we have to be real and understand that we, in order to be kings, our enemies can't exist. Okay, our enemies can't exist. We establish our kingdom through bloodshed. All right, in this force, in the show of our power, really Yahweh Bashmi Shah's power, but I'm talking in terms of like ancient wars and stuff. And then there's no more enemy. Everybody's at peace and understand who the king is. So in order, it said again, the title, how can you have a ruling class mentality if you can't picture a world without your enemy? Jake is so stuck with their enemy, though hand join in hand, the wicked will not go unpunished. See, they're hand in hand with their enemy. Therefore, they would never be on top. They would never rule according to how Jake moved. If it wasn't for Yahweh Bashmi Shah demon, his name, putting his name in Zion, all right, and him ordaining these things from the beginning of time, yo, Israel would have been finished, man. You see? So in order for us to actually have a true ruling class mentality, the enemy have to be pushed out the way. You see? Yeah, all the nations are our enemies, but we have an enemy, a enemy. There's a wicked, which is Esau Edom. All right, he's the border of wickedness, okay? Meaning he's the beginning and end of wickedness, man. Okay, he's the first murderer on the earth. Okay, and he's going to be the last murderer. All right, at the scale that we see today on earth. Okay, so I got this pulled up. It says, I just typed in, what is the role of a king? I'm gonna just read two things I peeped off Google. It says, what is the first duty of a king? It says the principal duty of the king is highlights to govern his people according to law. You see, what law? The law, statutes, and commandments, Deuteronomy 4. That's having a king mentality. So if I have this mindset of a king, a true mindset of a king, which is through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI and the things that he ordained and he seemed to be fit and to be true, you know, then I would choose to govern the people according to his ways, his law, because his law is life. You understand? So if I do that, then it's by default I'm detached from the wicked, because Jake is joined hand in hand with the wicked. Therefore, they is by default they can't have a ruling class class mentality. They have a peasant mindset. Like I mentioned in the beginning, Esau is a peasant. He's a servant. Okay, I have seen servants on horses and princes walking the earth. Roughly paraphrasing, and this is what you currently see today: servants on horses and princes walking the earth. So it says the principal duty of the king is, again, it highlights to govern his people according to law. See, and the king, that's what Yahweh Shah, he's governing Israel according to the law, statutes, commandments of the Heavenly Father, man. So it says, and highlighted again, to govern his people according to law, a duty so like a duty expressly recognized by the common law and entrenched in every coronation oath, though the wording of the oath has changed from the time. Right, they're going into something else, and I'm gonna read the second part. It says, what was the role of a king in the Bible times? It said the kings of Israel and Judah were believed to serve as Yahweh's agents to rule the nation. Right. It says they were expected to observe his covenant and laws. See, Jake, that shows you by default, Jake are no kings, man. You see, they're no kings in practice. Because they're not observing the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. It says we're expected to observe his covenant and laws. Jake don't do that. They uphold the way of Esau. So therefore, everything they do, no matter how good it may seem, their end result is death. It says to defend the nation and engage in offensive war when deemed necessary, and to rule the people with justice, all right, and righteousness. They have Yiddish right next to a mishpat, which is mashapat, right, judgment, all right, and it has righteousness, which it says sidaqua, which is tazadat, okay, um, if I'm not mistaken. So that's how a king thinks. So also I have, this is from Britannica.com. It says king, monarch, right? Then it says, I'm gonna just read the first part because real quick. The other part they're going into some other shit. It says king, famine. That's like a king, feminine queen, right? I already told you queen means a king's whore, so it would be a princess. It says a supreme ruler, sovereign over a nation or territory, of higher rank than any other secular ruler except an emperor, to whom a king may be subject. Kingship, a worldwide phenomenon, can be elective as in medieval Germany, but it is usually hereditary, right? This is why we are who we are, and we are in the position we're in. It may be absolute, it comes through our bloodline. Okay, our bloodline comes directly from the heavens. It says it may be absolute or constitutional and usually takes the form of a monarchy. Although diarchies have been known, as in ancient Sparta, where two kings ruled jointly, the king has often stood as mediator between his people and their god, or as an ancient Sumar as the god's representative. And that's what we just read. It said, what is the role of a king in the Bible times? Again, it says the kings of Israel and Judah were believed to serve as Yahweh's agents to rule the nation. They were expected to observe his covenant and laws. So that's having a ruling class mentality, man. So how can you have a ruling class mentality if you can't even picture a world without your goddamn enemy, man? Jake loved Esau, man. Everybody always say, well, every time we talk about the so-called McWhitey McWhite, is always a problem. Jake never come to the camp. Jake never on the comment board. They never talking about the Asian man. They never talking about the East Indian man. They always come up with the McWhitey, showing you that they have Stockholm syndrome. They fell in love with their oppressor. Okay, that's a real thing. Okay, they fell in love with their oppressor. This man has to go. See, that's contrary to popular belief. He's the enemy. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of, and he has to go. Okay, so we have to be in a kingly mindset. This is let me get this real quick. I'm gonna close out. This is Isaiah 65, and let me go here, man, because Isaiah 65:11. But ye are they that forsake YAHWASHI, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and that furnish the drink offering unto that number. Right? They forward this man's agenda. Ezekiel 29. All right, says the same thing. Okay, Esau put it where it was he put us in remembrance of our sins, roughly paraphrasing. He keep us in remembrance of our wickedness by snares and traps in front of us, and it causes Jake to continue to go off. And by that also too, Jake is willingly put it forward in this man's system. The main ones that's gonna be in them chipping lines are Jake's, because they're impoverished, they're in poverty, and they need assistance. They depend on the government, which govern is a compound word. Govern means control, ment means mind, and they depend on the ones who's controlling their mind currently, which is all YAHWASHI, but on a carnal level, it's Esau Edom. Okay, and they're furnishing that drink offering unto that number. That troop is Esau. Okay, and they preparing that table for that troop, which means it's talking about his agenda, his doctrines, his philosophies, and they're continuing to uphold them. The reason why there's something called an NWO is because Jake is all over the place and they're still involved. Jake is still in captivity. Therefore, something like such as an NWO can actually be talked about. But now, as you see on the still I have on the screen, it's a transferring of kingdoms. Okay, we're not gonna rule next to Esau, just like right now. I mean, Esau's not gonna rule next to us. Just like right now, we don't rule next to Esau. You don't see Jake face next to Esau on a dollar bill, man. See what I'm saying? You only see Esau. His heads are carved in the mountains. His face is on the money. He controls the banks. His name are all on the banks and the loans. Okay. It says the borrower is subject to the lender. Hey, get out of here, man. The borrower is subject to the lender. So that means you're in servitude to the one who's actually lending to you. Okay, this is Second Esdras, chapter 6 and 9. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this man is the end of the world. So if you can't picture a world without your enemy, and if he's the end of this world, if he's the end of death and wickedness, and you can't picture a world without him, that means you're gonna die too. You're gonna be ashamed in the kingdom. You're gonna remember how you attached to the hip of Esau. You know, the Martin Luther King spirit. It's impossible for us to be in a position of power and Esau is still Esau is still relevant, man. It's impossible, man. Every king knew that in the ancient world. That's why they would take the land. In order to take the land, right? What are we coming to do? What is Yahushua coming to do? He's coming to take the earth, the land, okay, the harvest. He's coming to pluck up things, okay, and he's planting. He's coming to pluck up the weeds and the things that choke the things of life. Okay, this is Second Thessalonians, real quick, 2:7. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. See, the Lord have plans for Esau. See, the Lord have plans for Esau. And his plan is to take him out of the way. This is a king's mindset. This is coming from YAHWASHI. And his mind is to take the enemy out of the way. Because Jake don't think they have enemies. That's one of the deceptiveness. How you say it? Though that's one of the ways Esau is deceiving Israel, man. Let's just put it like that. Okay, those are one of his tricks. It says 8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, who the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. See, his work is after the spiritual demon Satan, okay, which he's a physical counterpart of that, man. Okay, and he's doing his work on the earth. It says, even him who's coming is after the work of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they shall believe a lie, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. Right? She that live in pleasure is dead while she liveth. Israel is likened unto a woman. Okay, and she's living in pleasure, and therefore she's dead while she living. While she thinks she's alive, she's actually dead. She's in a corrupt state. All right, there's worms and maggots crawling through the body, and she act like there's nothing going on. Israel is become a degenerate plant. Israel has become far off, man. Okay, but now here you are in the new millennium. You have people calling themselves kings and princesses and queens and or some type of higher status when they're nothing more than a peasant right now. They're a servant unto the servant. So in order for you to actually truly be as a king, you got to get him out the way. It's impossible to have a ruling class and you want to start your own community. Well, nigga, who's still controlling the money? You still going at him for wanting all things. This is Psalms 94:23. I was talking to a brother earlier, you know what I'm saying? And he mentioned these scriptures, you know what I'm saying? But it was beautiful. It is Psalms 94:23. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, right? And shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yeah, Yahawashi, our power shall cut them off. So if Esau is going to be cut off, as you see on the screen, okay, well, why would I continue to indulge in his mindset? Because his mindset results and leads to death. So why would you still continue to think like him, man? You know, that it doesn't make sense. This is Psalms 37. It says 17, and for the arms of the wicked should be broken, right? Arms resemble strength, okay? Protection, all right? You can protect somebody with your arms. You can protect yourself. You can, you can do a lot with the arms, you know? So it says, for the arms of the wicked shall be broken. So his power, his strength, his way of taking hold of things or is being broken. But Yahweh shall uphold the righteous, because their hand is being made strong where it was weak. They've been working out through the spirit and they got stronger. You see, Esau don't have that capability, so he automatically is scrawny. And therefore he gets destroyed with any hardship and any wind that's blowing his way. And that's his role. So when you if you uphold that, then you too face that judgment. It says 18, the Lord, Psalms 37:18, Yahweh shall know of the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. Right? He know of the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. It says they shall not be ashamed in the evil time. In the days of famine, they shall be satisfied, but the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Yahweh Shai. What did it say? It says, in the enemies of Yahweh Shai shall be as the fat of lambs, they shall consume, and to smoke shall they consume away. See? So Yahweh Shai has enemies. Okay? And I believe that was King David that said that. I hate them that hate thee. All right, I hate them with a perfect hatred. See? So it's impossible, again, to really be in a ruling class mentality if you don't even know that you have enemies. If you're trying to put your enemies with the same status as you, that's what Jake do. Jake could get to a certain status in society and put the enemy, the so-called McWhite, on the same level as him, man. And then wonder why everything goes south later on. The scripture talk about set him not beside thee, all right, set him not next to thee, roughly paraphrasing an apocrypha, it's direct, I believe, right? Or he will overtake you. So, matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. This is Sirach 12:12. It says, let me see something quick. This is Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Right. So he's never gonna be in a lively state. Okay. His wickedness continues to get worse and worse. Okay. That's what iniquity is, sin upon sin. And his has reached into the heavens. All right. There's no going back from that. Though he humble himself, hey bud, right? And go crouching, right, offering you fucking pies and buying you donuts and open the door for you and shit. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. Right. Scopeo, take note of him. All right. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Right. As you see, I think it's called an hourglass. Like, yeah, I think that's what it is. But you see the hourglass being tipped over because his time is running out and we're being risen to the top. Okay. And we can see through that hourglass and we can see him for what he is. Okay. It says, verse Ecclesiastes 12:12, set him not by thee, right? Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. See? So we have an enemy. And the Lord said, don't set him by thee because he will overthrow thee. He will take you, he will plot against you. He's not for you. He's not for you, man. He's not for you. And that's why the verses continue on to talk about who should pity a charmer that is bitten, right? Because when all hell break loose and these things starting to come and pass, as they been doing through the spirit and power of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, through the prophets that he have set up, the men he have set up to the forest corners, the little sanctuaries he have set up, man, to prepare this sacrifice. Okay, the Lord, he's warned every spirit, man. Real quick, because I lost my train of thought. Let me grab this real quick. This is Psalms. Damn, bro. Okay, it's like it. This is Psalms 119. Phone kept tripping. Psalms 119:51. The proud have been great. It's like it. The proud had me greatly in derision, yet have I not declined from thy law. You see, they had it said the proud had me greatly in derision, right? The proud had me greatly in derision. When you go into that word derision, it says ridicule, mockery, and etum online. Subjection to ridicule, mockery, derision, a laughing to scorn, mockery, right? Lamentations 2, Lamentations 4, right? So the nations mock us, man, right? That's why the strangers of Wisdom of Solomon 5 say what it say. They didn't count us to be the saints and the sons of Yahweh Shai. They counted us as dung. They hiss and wag their head at us and brush us off like we don't even exist. You have enemies, Jake. Psalms 83. Okay? You have enemies. Until you understand you have an enemy, you can never be fit to be a king. That's why the Lord have to purge you as well, and you have to be born back whole with what they already installed in you. You're so far gone, you can't even it can't even penetrate through that concrete, that stony heart. You know what I'm saying? It can't penetrate through that stone. But the Lord is taking away that stony heart for the elect. Okay? He allowed them to remember themselves. He allowed them to actually do what they needed to do according to what he deemed in the beginning, man. Lord willing, I'm part of that number, man. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. It says, 2 and 4, it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. See, he's not a faith man. He's a carnal man. He has to see everything in the physical. He has to see everything up front in his face. Okay? Yeah, also, it's like Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, doctrines of philosophy. He's a proud man. Pride is when one departed from his maker, like it says in Wisdom of Solomon. He's a proud man, so he's not nowhere near the Most High. Okay? Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell. He's a vagabond and a fugitive on the earth. He's always on the run. He's a crimson. Crimson is where crime stems from. Crimson is red. He's the red criminal, and he's on the run. He's running because so he won't get caught. You know, that's what thieves do. He's the biggest thief. He's the biggest gangster on the earth. He's the thug. These things that Jake picked up, they come from Esau. It says that he enlarged his desire as hell. Right. All his desires in life surrounds nothing more, nothing less than death. Okay, all his desires in his life result in death. Him wanting to change how we eat food, the air, trying to block out the sun and water and everything he has done on the earth. He's destroyed the earth, like it says in Revelations. Okay, so he enlarges his desire as hell, the grave, the pit. He enlarges himself as a. It's like he enlarges his desire as the grave, man, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. You see? So he has the whole world under this sorcery, this witchcraft, this dark cloud. So if that's the case, how can you have a ruling class? How can you be as a king in a mind if you can't see this nigga gotta be, if you can't see he's the problem? He's the virus. In order to actually heal, you gotta find the problem, and you gotta cut, and you find the problem, you gotta cut the problem, you gotta get rid of the problem. Okay? Close with this. Isaiah 14 and 14, 14 and 1. For YAHWASHI will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers who shall be joined with them, Israel foreigners, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them into their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the YAHWASHI, the servants and handmaids. See? And they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. See? It says, and it shall come to pass in the day that the YAHWASHI shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. See? We're put here as a hard bondage where we are servant to the servant. Okay? You don't watch king movies and different things of such where the peasants on the field or in do whatever they're doing. They're not sitting next to on the throne next to the king, man. They can't even come near the king most of the time. You know, can't look at him, can't touch him sometimes. You see? So how can you have a ruling class mentality if you can't picture a world without your enemy? Okay, Key and Peele did a skit I watched a little bit ago. They did a skit on a world without the so-called McWhitey McWhite. You know what I'm saying? They was basically hitting on how everything was fast, how everything was beneficial. They don't have to wait in this line or that. Their mind was clear. They didn't hate each other, basically. You know what I'm saying? Everything was approved fast. They didn't get denied. See, Esau want to keep you in that position of denial, and he want to keep them spirits on you. He want to keep them demons on you. so they can rouse up when you need things to actually get by. When the things you need to get by are actually basic things. All right, it talks about that in Sirach 39. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, man. So that's all I have on that. You know what I'm saying? Just something real quick through the spirit and power. YAHWASHI. Again, the title, how can you have a ruling class mentality? You can't picture a world without your enemy. This nigga got to go. He has to go. Okay? There's no way around it. No ifs and buts about it. He has to go. Not come back. They talk about that later down in Isaiah 14. Killing the nephew and the son, right? So that he won't become renowned again, man. Meaning to a high status, a high stature, and then eventually taking over everything, all right, because he's a damn demon, okay? High level witch, okay, blessing with the sword, etc., right? So it's impossible to actually sit next to this nigga and rule a kingdom, rule lands, rule territory. So Lord willing, this lesson I define, I like to give all honor, glory, infinite praise, and worship to again Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. Double honors again to our apostle, it was a great millstone, who will teach you on sound doctrine, strong shalom, to the hopeful elect, and the rest of the large multitude of men, women, and children, that the Lord will have mercy on these last days. Again, it's your brother Kadash from Jim's branch here in Cleveland. Lord willing, was edifying until next time. Shalom, my of a ball, a Bible ball, shalom.